Hi guys, I hope you guys are all doing well. This is Nekkog. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about being a Starbucks supervisor. I'm gonna go over like the position itself, what it's like, what you have to do, what's hard about it, what's fun about it, what I like about it personally, and even give you some advice if you're someone who's going to become a Starbucks supervisor. But yeah, if you'd like to know what it's like being a Starbucks supervisor, just keep watching this video. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is the job description itself. So being a Starbucks supervisor consists of one, managing the floor during a shift, meaning placing people in different areas, so having someone make drinks, someone taking orders, so just managing people. Also managing breaks and lunches. Another thing that is important for the role is, sorry, I have notes here, is focusing on the customer experience, handling any problems with customers or any problems with orders. It's a supervisor's job to really take care of stuff like that and make the customer happy. And then also part of being a supervisor is putting in orders, unpackaging orders, counting product for inventory purposes. And also another thing is, I feel like one thing that's really important about being a supervisor, even a manager, I'm not a manager though, is really supporting the floor. So supporting the people who are working, making drinks, putting in orders, cleaning, whatever it may be, getting product, replacing product. So like, being a supervisor isn't just like sitting back, relaxing and watching things go down. I feel like working at Starbucks, there's a lot of support like that goes into the position and really making sure everyone's good. Another thing, of course, is cash management. Supervisors handle the cash management, opening and closing, and even throughout the day, throughout the shift. But that's basically like the gist of the position. I feel like there's a lot that goes into being a Starbucks supervisor. There's a lot of responsibility, a lot of managing too. But I also wanted to go over, so I put down some things that I should mention. So I've been a Starbucks supervisor for almost 6 months. So like in a couple days it'll be 6 months exactly. And sorry, I had to burp. I burp in every video. I can't help it. And I wanted to answer like why I became a Starbucks supervisor. So overall, I've been working for Starbucks for pretty much 2.5 years. So like right when my 2-year mark came up was when I got promoted to be a supervisor. It's been 6 months. And it's funny because being a barista, I never saw myself being a Starbucks supervisor. I don't know, I was like, that's too much responsibility. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to have to deal with that. And also at the time I was like, they don't even make enough money to be dealing with the stuff that they deal with. Because being a Starbucks supervisor, it's a lot. Like there's a lot that goes into it. But I became one because, and I wasn't asked, I went to my manager and said I want to be a supervisor because honestly I needed to make more money at the time, and I really didn't even know what to expect going into the position. I really didn't have any intentions on being a leader. And for the longest time, like I said, as a barista, I always said I would never be a supervisor here. They don't make enough money. But then when the time came and I needed to make more money, because you do make more than you do as a barista, and I love working at Starbucks. I love working for Starbucks, so I was like, I trust this, so I'm gonna go into this and make a little bit more money. So that was my reason, really, was just to make more money, which sounds bad, but that's just my honest answer. Another thing I wrote down was, do I enjoy being a supervisor? Yes, I do. I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. I feel like for me, I really like, I feel like I really am a people's person, and with being a supervisor, there's a lot of human connection. There's a lot of connection. You have to connect with your staff, because to be able to place people in certain positions throughout the day, you need to know people, and I feel like that's a lot of fun, in my opinion. I think it's fun to get to know everyone, get to know their strengths. I also like training. I feel like being a supervisor also, it does involve training, and I feel like that's something that I've just noticed a lot of supervisors don't like to do. When I feel like it's very important part of being a leader is training. Like, you have to train people. Working in retail in general, you're just gonna have to train people all the time. You're gonna get new people, and also part of being a leader is, I read a lot of leadership books too. That's where some of this talk is coming from, but I feel like with being a leader is you want to grow leaders as well, and doing that you have to train people. So I love the training aspect. I love getting to know people. I love the strategy behind it of, okay, this is my plan for the day, this is where I'm gonna have these certain amount of people, this is when I'm gonna put in an order or grab more food, and this is when I'm gonna handle cash management. To me, it's kind of like a game, and I don't know, I just love the process of it. It's enjoyable to me. Yeah, that's what I really like about it. And I also want to talk about what's hard about the position. I wrote down dealing with conflict with staff. So there's a lot of management that goes into being a supervisor, because your manager isn't always there. So supervisors are like the temporary managers that are there all the time. And I think that's just something that's a little hard to deal with, is conflict with the staff. Maybe like two people are getting along, and then you have to like handle that and talk to individuals and just make sure everyone's getting along. Also, one thing that I feel like can be hard is that okay, sorry. One of the big things about being a supervisor is creating the energy and the vibe for the entire store and the staff, and you're expected to pretty much always be in a good mood, which is understandable. It's kind of just a part of leadership, is you're like the light. You're like, you need to be upbeat, not like super social or anything, just for anyone who's scared about that, because I'm an introverted person. I feel like I can come off extroverted, but that's only when I'm comfortable. Like, overall, I'm an introvert. So I think that can be a little bit hard, is really creating the energy and the vibe. It is so important. At least for Starbucks, it's very important to have everyone be on the same page and have good energy. And you know, when you're not in the mood, or you're sad or upset, you don't really want to like fake it. But also there's like that cost of, if your vibe is down, the entire staff's vibe is down. So I think that's something that can be a little bit difficult for probably any leader, is, you know, creating that positive energy and being that light, that source. Because at the end of the day, you want people to come to you if they have problems. And I think one thing that's very important about being a supervisor at Starbucks is patience. It's very important, being patient with staffing, being patient with customers, and also being understanding. I think that's just those are just traits for any company. Being a leader of any form is patience, understanding, training, and yeah, I guess creating that positive vibe. So yeah, that's what I think is kind of hard. It's just always being happy, basically, even when you're struggling. And then so I didn't want to make this video too long. It's not really so much to talk about. So I wanted to end it with giving advice to any of you guys who are maybe baristas and want to be supervisors for Starbucks, or maybe even a supervisor for any company that you work for. My advice I wrote down is to ask questions and try to learn as much as possible, especially when you're becoming a supervisor, or even right before that happens. It's really important to learn as much as you can, because your manager's not always going to be there, and your manager is relying on you to, you know, be confident and be able to take control and manage the floor while they're not there. So I think it's very important to ask questions, try to learn as much as possible. I think it's also very important to be confident but be transparent at the same time. So basically, with like getting into a new role, you don't want to be cocky or act like you know everything, because you're always going to be learning. As a leader, you're always learning. You're learning something every single day, all the time. You're learning new things. So it's important to kind of just accept that, hey, I'm not going to always know everything. I'm not going to always know all the answers. And being a new supervisor, it's very important, because if you go around leading without asking any questions and you're having problems, then, managers aren't mind readers. They don't know what you don't know. At least not after they've at least not after that training period of where they're like, okay, like, you can be on your own and work on your own. But don't be afraid to go out of your way to find information yourself. Did I say be independent? I said confident, and I can't remember if I said independent, but being a supervisor, it's very important to be independent. But not being afraid to ask questions. I don't know, they're kind of like, some people do like either or, but you, I don't know, like, taking initiative. So taking initiative and taking responsibility is part of your role as a supervisor. And yeah, I specifically put down to be transparent as well. So if you are struggling, let your manager know, ask them questions, because in that beginning time, that first month or two, or even 3 months, they're expecting, or they should be, if they're a good manager, they should be expecting you to ask questions, to want to learn new things. And so that way, if you're transparent with them, they know where you're at, and they can help you or lead you based off of where you're at. Also, being transparent with your staff that you're working with. It's very, very important. Now, of course, like I said, you always want to keep that positive vibe and keep the energy good, but you don't want to be like cocky and act like you know everything and act like everything's okay when, sometimes, some days it's not going to be okay, and sometimes you're going to need that extra support from the people that you're working with. And sometimes, you're not going to be able to do everything within the time span that you planned, so you're going to need extra help. And that's where the training goes in, I think, as well, is when you train people to do certain things as a supervisor, one day, like, that person is probably going to be able to help you out when you really need it. So that's very important. And the last thing that I put is be a good example I think a lot of times when getting promoted to being a supervisor, people don't really understand that they are in a new role. Like, you're no longer a barista, like you're a supervisor now. You have way more responsibility, and how you act reflects on how your staff acts and reflects on how you're managing. So just be a good example. You don't have to necessarily, I don't feel like, be a goody two-shoe and follow every rule to a T, but you also want to be a good example because it's a reflection of you. Because word goes around if things aren't managed properly or aren't going well with a specific supervisor, a specific person who's in charge that day. So yeah, I guess to sum up, advice would be ask questions, learn as much as you can, do not be afraid to be transparent and to be honest, and just be a good example, and you know, take responsibility for this new role that you're in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you're a supervisor or if you're gonna become a Starbucks supervisor. Yeah, I think that's it. If I need to cover more, I'll probably make another video or a different video. But I hope you guys did enjoy it and learn something from it. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.